The storm hit Seattle like a freight train, ripping power lines from their poles and plunging my apartment into blackout chaos, just as Nathan knelt by my router, his flashlight beam cutting through the dark like a lifeline. "Shit, Keith. This surge fried more than your modem. It's like the universe is conspiring against Wi-Fi tonight," he muttered, his voice steady but laced with that easy grin that made my pulse stutter, even as thunder rattled the windows. I watched him, heart hammering, knowing this wasn't just about cables anymore. One wrong twist, and everything between us would snap. It started 2 weeks earlier, on a drizzly Tuesday that felt as ordinary as the endless gray skies over Puget Sound. I just moved into this creaky walk-up in Capitol Hill, a neighborhood buzzing with coffee shops, rainbow flags fluttering from balconies, and that undercurrent of quiet rebellion that drew misfits like me from the straight-laced suburbs of Spokane. At 28, I was chasing a fresh start, new job as a graphic designer for an indie game studio, new city, new me. The old me back home had been the dutiful son, the guy who nodded along at family barbecues while hiding sketches of men in his sketchbook under the floorboards. Coming out, that was a pipe dream deferred, buried under layers of someday and not yet. But the internet, that was non-negotiable. No Netflix, no freelance gigs, no scrolling through anonymous forums where I could pretend to be someone brave. So I called the provider and they sent Nathan. He showed up at 3 p.m. sharp, toolbox in hand, wearing a faded flannel shirt rolled to his elbows over a company polo that hugged his broad shoulders just right. Mid-30s, maybe, with a scruffy beard that screamed, lumberjack who reads poetry on the side, and hazel eyes that crinkled when he laughed. "Keith, right? I'm Nathan, your connectivity savior for the day." His handshake was firm, calloused from years of wrestling wires, and it lingered a beat too long, sending a spark up my arm that had nothing to do with static electricity. We bantered as he worked, me perched on the edge of my thrift store couch, nursing a lukewarm coffee. He asked about the move, the job. I dodged the personal stuff, steering towards safe territory like the Mariners' latest slump or the best faux spots in the U District. But Nathan had a way of peeling back layers without trying. "Seattle chews people up if you're not careful," he said, drilling into the wall with a low whir. "But it rewards the ones who let it in. What's your story, man? Escaping something? Or chasing?" I chuckled it off, but his words stuck like burrs. By the time he tested the signal, fingers flying over his phone, that grin flashing again as all clear, the rain had picked up, drumming against the fire escape like impatient fingers. "Oh, you won," I said, signing the receipt. "Beer on me sometime?" His eyes met mine, steady and searching. "Make it coffee. Tomorrow. There's a spot on Broadway with killer lattes and zero judgment." I froze, the invitation hanging in the humid air. Judgment. He knew, or suspected. In that moment, with the city humming outside and my pulse roaring in my ears, I nodded. Yeah, tomorrow. What followed was a whirlwind that felt scripted for some indie rom-com, the kind with acoustic guitars and heartfelt voiceovers. Coffee turned to walks along the waterfront, where we'd skip stones into the choppy bay and talk about everything and nothing. Nathan was a transplant too, from a conservative ranch town in eastern Washington, where he'd come out at 19 and lost half his family in the fallout. "Dad still sends hate mail disguised as birthday cards," he admitted one evening, as we shared fries at a dive bar overlooking the ferries. "But Mom, she calls every Sunday, whispers, 'I love you,' like it's contraband. It's enough." His vulnerability cracked me open. I confessed bits of my own cage. The pressure from my sister to settle down with some nice girl from church. The nights I'd lie awake wondering if I'd die hiding who I was. Nathan listened without pity, just that quiet nod, his hand brushing mine under the table like it was the most natural thing. "You're not hiding anymore, Keith. Not from me." Our first kiss happened on a ferry to Bainbridge, the salt wind whipping our hair as the city receded like a watercolor smear. He cupped my face, thumb tracing my jaw, and leaned in slow, giving me every out. But I didn't take it. His lips were soft, tasting of sea air and possibility, and for the first time, I felt unmoored in the best way, free, floating towards something real. We fell into a rhythm after that. Weeknights tangled on my couch, debating Tarantino films over takeout pad thai. Weekends hiking the Olympics, where the evergreens swallowed our laughter and the world felt vast enough for two bruised hearts. Nathan was steady, an anchor in my drifting life, teaching me to fix a leaky faucet, quoting Whitman under starlit skies, making me believe love wasn't a luxury for straight folks only. "We're wired the same, you and me," he'd say, tracing circuits on my palm. "Just different paths to the current. But Seattle's underbelly has teeth," and mine sank in during a crisp October afternoon. I'd surprised him at his job site, a row of new condos in Belltown, armed with craft beers and a playlist of our songs. He was on a ladder, sweat beading on his neck, when his phone buzzed. I heard the voice before he silenced it. Feminine, sharp, laced with accusation. "Nate, we need to talk. About us. About the ring I found in your drawer." The ladder creaked as he descended, face ashen. "Keith, wait." I didn't. Beers clattered to the pavement as I bolted, the city blurring into a smear of neon and regret. Betrayal isn't a thunderclap. It's a slow poison, seeping through the cracks you'd sworn were sealed. That night, alone in my apartment, I scrolled through our texts, months of inside jokes, whispered, "I love yous," and wondered how I'd missed the signs. The late nights he called overtime, the hesitation when I pushed for meeting his friends, the drawer in his truck he always locked. He showed up at dawn, rain-soaked and desperate, pounding on my door until the neighbors stirred. "Keith, open up, please." His voice broke on the last word, raw as an exposed wire. I let him in, arms crossed like armor. The living room felt too small, the air thick with unspoken storms. "Who's she, Nathan? Your complicated ex?" He sank onto the couch, head in hands. "Emily. We dated in college, back when I was still figuring shit out. She moved here last month for a job, showed up unannounced. I told her it was over years ago, but she found the ring. It was for her back then. A promise I never kept because I couldn't lie anymore." The words landed like punches. And me? Was I just the rebound? The safe harbor till she sailed back in? "No." He surged to his feet, closing the distance, eyes fierce. "You, Keith, you're the first real thing I've had since coming out. Emily's guilt, a ghost. But you're the spark that lit me up. I was gonna tell her tonight. End it for good." Thunder rumbled outside, mirroring the war in my chest. Part of me wanted to shove him out, bolt the door on this fragile dream. But another part, the one that had sketched his profile in secret, memorized the freckles on his knuckles, clung to the truth in his gaze. "Why didn't you say something sooner? I thought we were building this together." He reached for my hand, tentative. "Fear. Same as you. I lost everything once. Didn't want to risk it again. But losing you? That's worse." We stood there, inches apart, the rain a relentless curtain against the windows. Suspense coiled tight. Would I bridge the gap, or let the storm wash us away? His fingers trembled in mine, and in that suspended breath, I saw us. Two men pieced from American scraps. Rugged individualism masking tender cores, chasing liberty in a land that preached it but rationed it out. Betrayal had cracked us, but maybe that's where the light got in. "I need time," I whispered, not pulling away. "But don't disappear on me." He nodded, pressing his forehead to mine. "I won't. Guair to guair, Kate. We're connected now." The weeks that followed were a tightrope walk, high drama laced with quiet grace. Emily didn't fade quietly. She cornered him at a bar one night, scene witnessed by mutual friends who texted me blurry photos, her tears smudging the screen. "He's mine." The caption read, a digital dagger. Nathan forwarded it to me, followed by, "Not anymore." Coffee? I met him at our spot on Broadway, the cafe's warmth a balm against November's bite. Over steaming mugs, he laid it bare. The final confrontation, her pleas turning to fury, the ring shattered on the pavement like a broken vow. "It's done," he said, sliding a key across the table. His apartment key, etched with a tiny rainbow. "If you want in. All the way." My heart seized, a climax of terror and triumph. This was it, the leap, no net. Back home, I'd built walls of silence. Here, in this city of dreamers and dropouts, I could choose. I took the key, our fingers entwining, and felt the current hum to life. But life doesn't script tidy bows. Come December, My folks visited for the holidays. Unannounced, like a grenade lobbed from the past. Dad with his flannel and folksy wisdom. Mom with her apple pie and sidelong glances at my bachelor pad. Nathan had planned to meet them, but cowardice gripped me anew. Not yet, I begged him the night before. Give me a week. He searched my face, hurt flickering like a shorted bulb. Keith, this isn't Spokane. You don't have to. I know. The words choked out. But they do. The dinner was a minefield. Small talk over turkey, Dad's jokes landing flat, Mom's eyes lingering on the extra place setting. Nathan texted midway, outside if you need me. I didn't reply. When they left, hugs stiff as starched collars, the apartment echoed with my shame. He was waiting on the stoop, breath fogging in the cold. I get it. Family's a beast. But his voice cracked, the betrayal reversed. This time, mine in hiding him. We fought then, words flying like hail. Accusations of half measures, pleas for patience. I can't be your secret anymore, he shouted, voice echoing off brick. Not if this is real. It's real. I grabbed his jacket, pulling him close, rain mingling with tears on our faces. I'm scared. Okay? Scared I'll lose them like you did. But losing you, I'd unravel. He softened, hands framing my face. Then let's face it together. Call them. Tell your truth. The climax crested that night, under the relentless downpour. I dialed Mom at 2 a.m., voice shaking as I spilled it all. Nathan. Us. The love that had remade me. Silence stretched, eternal. Then her whisper, oh, honey, we've always known. Just bring him next time. For pie. Dawn broke misty over the sound as Nathan and I walked the waterfront. Hands linked openly, the city awakening around us. No grand gestures, no cinematic swells. Just two guys, scarred but standing, in a country that bent but didn't break us. Betrayal had tested the line. Emotion had fortified it. We'd connected not just to each other, but to the messy, humanistic core of starting over, forgiving the falters, choosing the spark over the safe. Seattle's skies cleared that morning, a rare blue promise. And in Nathan's quiet, I love you, I heard my own. Finally, fully alive.